Hello, and welcome to Black Man Working. I'm your host, Leanna Davis. Black Man Working is a show that features hardworking black men here in the Mid South area. Today's guest is Mr. Amal Black. How are
Hey,
you
I'm
today,
good. How
Amal?
are you? I'm very good.
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you again for being a guest on the show.
Definitely. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, we're going to jump straight into the show.
Let's do it.
Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so as I initiate things with everyone, I tell them I'm a jack of all trades. My profession is a performing arts teacher, and that's recent. However, I do music on the side. I produce music as far as take students to the studio to do music, as well as myself. And I'm now publishing because I have a publishing company now.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's one of those things where when you ask me what I do, because my path is changing so much, it's kind of hard to kind of describe myself to people without rambling a lot and talking about it, because you got to try to figure it out.
Tell me about your past jobs.
Yeah. Okay. So my past jobs, I worked at my first job was Hibbett Sports.
Okay.
I worked at Finish Line. I've worked at Airpop. So these are all like high school.
Yeah.
Right. But then when I kind of got out of college, I started out working at Winchester Elementary. It's here in Memphis, Tennessee, as a teaching assistant, and then that kind of inspired me to move on to teaching for real. And so I took my test and I got my certification and I began teaching. So now I'm a certified performing arts teacher.
Certified
And I was at
performing
Bellevue Middle
arts.
School last year with Kevin Malone.
Okay, great. How did you feel when you got that first paycheck at Hibbett Sports?
Boy, no, just joking. But it felt good. You see what I'm saying? Because when I was in high school, you want to bounce around, you want to do some things, and you can't do it on your parents' dollar all the time, right? So for me, it was my way of having my own money so I can do what I'm trying to do now. I've always been in my room creating my music, doing little fashion shoots with my friends and just creating my own space. But me having a high school job gave me that money to kind of do that on the side.
Do you remember what you spent it on? Like, did you buy a pair of shoes? Like, was there one specific thing that you had to get?
A camera.
Okay.
I can't even lie. Like, there was a few things I had to get. You know how when you got to college, that MT, right? Both alums,
Yeah.
right? So you got that refund check, and you was like, ooh, that was a lot of money. I can do a lot with this. I had to give me a computer, a Mac computer, a camera, and I started doing my music and my video stuff there. So then I started buying materials to like hook my room up. I'm tearing out magazines and doing all kinds of stuff. But a lot of my money went towards being creative.
Creative. That's funny because I think about when I was 12 years old, my mom, I asked her to get me a karaoke machine.
Okay.
And she was like, girl, you know you can't sing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I know I can't sing, Mom, but I want to hear how I sound on a microphone.
Yes.
I want to learn how to hold a microphone. So it's really great to know your passion and know your dreams and follow them and invest in them while you're young.
Very much so.
About how many jobs do you think you've had total?
I would have to say from high school on, probably like a good 16, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
no
up
wrong,
there.
no
Look,
wrong
I've been
with that.
bouncing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the job that you thought, this is the one, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Teaching. When I finally got to, when I finally got my first certified teaching job as a performing arts teacher at Du Bois Arts and Tech, I was in high school, and I wasn't in high school, I was a high school teacher. And the students that I was working with, they were from a background that was definitely, we'll say, underserved, you know what I mean? So you're dealing with those, and I'm underage in a way because, I'm working with seniors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who have been in the game teaching for a long time, and I'm trying to figure it out. And me being a creative performing arts teacher type of person, that comes with a lot of territory. You're the weird guy sometimes, or you're the one who's the energy of the school.
Extra.
And,
You
I'm
extra.
going to Mr. Black class. I'm tired of being up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, man, please stop coming in here. So that was a challenge. I knew that I wanted that job after I came and, met the challenge head on. And people were starting to show me, like, you really are good at this. Like, we're watching you, Amal. I'm seeing what you're doing. Keep going. So that's when I knew teaching was it.
Teaching was it. What are some of the challenges that you face? Because you are a jack of all trades. So what are some of the challenges you face with clients, with
Yes.
coworkers, with students?
Yes. The biggest challenge sometimes is describing who I am and what I do, because when you find out that, oh, he can do this and he can do that, then it depends on who I'm networking with and who I'm meeting with. That determines what I discuss about myself the most. So, Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The biggest challenge is that. But then also just trying to manage time and manage, your own company branding. I mean, branding is in and of itself a challenge, But if you can meet that challenge and you can do it effectively, then you might just have yourself a bad business.
Now, what about students not wanting to perform,
Oh.
or teachers trying to compete?
You know what? Teaching students is fun, but it's definitely one of those things you got to be the right person to do. Because kids are going to make you want to just,
Oh yeah, body slam them sometimes.
Exactly. But a lot of it is rewarding because the ones that really like you, and I've been blessed to have been at a lot of schools that the kids embrace me the most, you know what I'm saying? And, I can go to any school that I've worked at now and it's almost like, having the key to the school in a way because the students love me just that much. And it's challenging because you got to try to, keep yourself composure when a kid tries to step up to you and be, to be your age, and you're only 13, and I know what's best for you.
Yes.
And you don't.
Now, I work with youth also, and I really feel like it's important that we pour into our youth.
Definitely.
Do you find that it's best that we're transparent with them on some things?
Yes. Love that word, transparent, because they can see through you anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
they can size you up.
Right, exactly. And if you recognize, a child recognizes that he's a child, I can get away with being very real with you because I'm supposed to not know any better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when I know that as a child, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I've seen that play out before.
I've seen that also, but I have seen that being transparent also helps that child because they feel you. They feel that you're from that place.
Right.
It's that time. It's that time, everyone. We're having a great show already.
So
we're going to have to take a break. You stay in your chair. We'll be right back on Black Man Working.
Jessica, we need to leave right now.
I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a meaning no one knows. Waiting to be set
So,
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
Sharing. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
TTEN.
Welcome back to Black Man Working. I'm your host, Leanna Davis. Today's guest is Mr. Amal Black. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He does, name them, list it.
Teaching, music, publishing, engineering. What do you want? What do you need? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I wish I was getting paid a whole bunch more for it, but that's another show. You know what I mean?
That is another show. Now, before the break, we were talking about young people and being transparent with them and just, leading them on the right path.
Right.
But now I'm going to switch gears, okay?
do
I'm going
it.
to get
Let's do
all up in your business.
Let's get all up in my all right.
I want to know about women in the workplace.
Okay.
So with more women in the workplace, do you find yourself being approached by women often?
All the time. I can't even lie. When it comes to me, that's one of the biggest things. I get approached all the time. I'm just gonna keep it at that.
Yeah, keep it there.
It happens. I've had a few situations where women have gotten so close to the point where they feel like we were talking, we were dating or whatever the case may be, or we were going somewhere with that, and it wasn't quite the case at the workplace because I don't mix that.
Don't mix it. So you've never dated a woman where you worked?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. But I've talked, and I've learned just in talking it gets dangerous. So I don't even do that.
Yes, talking can get just as dangerous.
Yes.
I want to know about some of that drama that you were involved with some of that talking.
Okay. We'll call this situation my brother's girlfriend called her Desperado. let's say.
Desperado, okay.
It was a situation where I was working at a school and there was a young lady who she really liked me a lot, and she said that through my eyes, she could tell that I was in love with her. I liked her, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So, it's one of those situations where you feel like it's like a love at first sight kind of thing, but we're in the workplace and that's not my style anyway. But, I'm a nice guy. I'm constantly, hugging, and I love hugs,
Yeah.
But then hugs turn into like, oh, that must
Hugging
mean
feels,
something. Like,
yeah.
let me, you know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
goodness.
Right. See, and when it get like that, you start to back off a little bit. But for me, it was you calling, you texting, and you're getting a little bit too comfortable, and it turns into like, now I got to dodge you at work because, mind you, we in a class, so you pull up at the classroom, you know what I'm saying? You coming right in, how you doing, Mr. Black, whatever, and I'm like, oh man, these kids see that, and
they know what's up.
These kids know what's up. You know what I'm saying? So for all you teachers out there who think that the kids don't know, they know, and they know who's doing what and we're doing what. So trust. That's another reason why you can't be doing and mixing a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Now, I am a very hard-working black woman. I'm a jack of all trades, actually. I can list a few things that I do on the daily.
Okay.
So with me being a hard-working black woman, do you feel any type of way about black women making more money than black men?
I love it. I mean, they should get paid just as much as we do. If you do the same job, you should get your bread. You see what I'm saying? I'm the same person. If this person is sitting right next to me, like you and I, right here doing the same job, and you know that I get paid thousands of dollars more than you, and it does happen all the time, then that's a situation for you to just look at yourself and what does that say about me? What does that say about my value?
Yes.
And then that's when you ask yourself, is it because I'm a woman? And you don't want to put somebody through that. They shouldn't have to go through that.
All right. Well, Amal, I have to say that you're a pretty fair black man working.
I'll be fair.
Pretty fair. What do you think made your bosses hire you?
A lot of times it does lead back to the whole, it's all about who you know, but then your resume. You know what I'm saying? Like the caveat to it all is your resume.
Yes.
You got to be able to do the work. You got to be able to prove that you've done the work before. And if you're one of those people who thinks that they can just show up and just have it all there and together, then you got another thing coming in some of the places that I've been at, So definitely, it's the resume, it's the knowing who you know, and then being tenacious. If you are looking for a job and they don't call you, you call them. You like, look, don't, boop, boop, boop. I done called you 6 times now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
let
it's
me know.
Amal.
Right. Look, I'm using another voice now. You see what I'm saying? So, you want to be tenacious and you want to be preparedness.
Yes. So being prepared, do you mean knowing something about the company?
Yeah. Do your research. Like, be prepared. If you know that you're going to have an interview at a company that, is servicing a certain demographic, then you need to know about the demographic so that way when you are discussing it in your interview, you can talk about it. Yeah. You don't get stumped, because a lot of times in an interview that I've learned is just make it a conversation.
Yes.
Sometimes we're just waiting on the question. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to answer it real quick and hopefully, that's it. But you make it a conversation and you prepare yourself. You do the research. You find out who the directors of the company are.
Yeah.
You find out what you need to know. So, yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years. Let's see. How old am I now? Okay. I'll be 30 in January, actually. So in 5 years, I'll be 35. I say my company, Amal Black Studios, will be a lot more off the ground with the music. I feel like within the next year, you'll see me on your TV screen somewhere doing some other things. Yes. Last week, Sunday, I hosted an event with Lamont Rucker on Greenleaf, you know what I mean? And he actually just left yesterday. And he and I chopped it up, and I know that he told me I'm an asset. That made me feel good, you know what I mean? To work alongside with you and know that this is a professional platform for you, and you trusted me with your event. Yes. And so that in and of itself tells me I'm going somewhere. I don't know where I'm going because I be doing a whole lot, but wherever I'm at, I feel like I'm going to make some gold up out of it,
Yes. Now, if you don't know who Lamont Rucker is, he plays the husband on Meet the Browns. He was on, he's in all of the Tyler Perry movies, a lot of the Tyler Perry movies.
How Did I Get Married? Definitely.
How Did I Get Married?
He was Jill Scott's counterpart on How Did I Get Married?
Yes, Sheriff Troy.
Yeah.
Sheriff Troy was him.
And he's Jacob in Greenleaf. He's the pastor's son, and he's now a pastor at Triumph. So, you all make sure y'all catch in and tune in to that because he is going to be, he's got his sights set on Memphis in a way. We're looking at doing some production stuff, so that's why I say, my path may be changing from the music stuff for more so to the production and the producer side of things.
Yes. And that's great networking. Yes. I mean, you made a contact with someone who's super famous,
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we actually got to take a quick break, but before we take the break, real quick, tell me what you think about tattoos in the workplace.
I love my tattoos. I'm not even going to lie to you, but I feel like there's a time and place for some of them. If they're inappropriately, they should be covered. They should be covered. And but if you can wear them out, wear them, flaunt them. You know what I mean? Because I got a few of them myself.
All right. Make sure your tattoos are appropriate. Make sure that you're prepared for the interview. We have to take another break. You stay right there. Stay in that chair. We'll be back on Black Man Working.
They say I'm a bad kid.
Or a charity case. A troublemaker.
Worthless.
There are more than 3 million children in America's child protection and justice systems. Kids who have been abused, neglected, traumatized. Kids who act out. The worst cases you can imagine.
They say I'm messed up.
A drain on society.
Just a stupid mistake.
For their safety and others, some of these children have to be removed from their homes. Separated from their families, they're at the mercy of an overwhelmed system.
I don't think I'm a lost cause.
I'm just a kid.
Youth Villages believes that no child is a lost cause, not a single one, because a stable, loving family can help any child succeed. And we have an 80% success rate that proves doing whatever it takes for children is the only thing that works. If you agree, find out how you can help at youthvillages.org.
You! Oh! Your fault. You!
My fault?
Your fault. Your fault.
You're right.
What?
It's my fault.
What do you mean your fault?
You're right, it's my fault. Maybe both of us?
Maybe just you.
TTEN.
Now, Amal, this is the point of my show where I want you to look directly into the camera,
Okay.
because we have some men sitting at home who don't quite know how to get up and work. I want you to give them some words of encouragement.
Get up. That's first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that you're getting up. You can't sit down and get anywhere. So, you know, and if the stairs of life are too challenging for you to get started, then you might as well just walk around. Don't sit down. You know, be productive. Actually be doing the research. Know what you want to do. I know sometimes it's hard to know what you want to do if you haven't had a chance to explore a little bit to see what's out here, but that's the thing. You got to get up and explore some.
Gotta get up and explore. You gotta get up. You gotta get out. I mean, you can't make no money sitting on the couch. As much as I love you watching my show, I want you to get a job. That's what the whole point of the show, Black Man Working. Now, Amal, we got a few men that got out. They got out, they went on a few interviews, but they felt like the employer wasn't paying them enough. So what would you say to a man who refuses a job because it's not enough money?
I would say, for one, if you're a man who needs a job, then not enough money shouldn't be in your vocabulary. You know, for me, my grandfather it didn't matter if you were making 25 cents or almost being paid in peanuts, because he died when he was 100. So he came from a time where you might have been working for peanuts, and you be thankful that you got the 5 you got. That's going to last you for today. And so that to say, you know, $7.25, that's minimum wage, and you ain't making that on a daily basis anyway. You take it till you find something that's going to work for you later. Don't sit down and think that, oh, that's too low for me. I'm more valuable than that, because the thing about it is if you ain't getting no bread, then what does it matter? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're not in a place or a space to reject finances.
Anything.
You
Yes.
see?
I remember my first job at McDonald's, and I talk about it almost every show. My first job was at McDonald's, and I started there back in 2006. And when I started there as a cashier, my pay rate was $5.50. And I stayed there, and then I got a raise. It went to $5.85.
Okay.
And within 2 years, and that was me going from college and coming back home and working. Within 2 years, I went to $7.25. That's when they raised the minimum wage. But you accept what you want. My mom told me that she wasn't going to pay for all of those activities I want to go to at school, so I had to get a job.
Right.
And my work ethic is very important, because my work ethic got my sister a job. My sister walked into McDonald's, and the manager said, "You're Leanna's sister, right?" She said yes, and she asked her, did she want a job? That's it. So it's all about you getting up and getting out to work, and not turning down something that you don't even have, you know?
Right.
Do you feel pressure to perform better than any other race?
I feel pressure to perform just by being me. You see what I'm saying? And I think that really I'm more in competition. I'm really not in competition, but I don't like to think like that. But more in competition with people in my own race, because I feel like, you know, it's more doing music and doing production kind of stuff. I think that it's more critical crowd over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that being the case, you know, the pressure really comes from trying to please us, black folks sometimes.
Yeah.
We can be, hard to please.
Oh yes, we can be very critical. I mean, and a lot of times before I complain, before I fix my mouth to complain, I have to see myself in that person's shoes.
Exactly.
Is it really their fault? Did they really, do this against me, or is it really me?
Right,
And so
right.
us as black people, we do have to learn how to chill out.
Relax.
Sometimes we don't have to snap on
Critique
everybody or
everything.
critique everything. Sometimes we have to accept things as they are.
Right.
Who are some people who influenced you to do this business and get out and work?
When it comes to work, just in general, my grandfather, like I said, he was 100 when he died. He was a hard-working man. My father himself, he's a hard-working, entrepreneurial, spirited kind of guy. That's in all of us. My mom, she propels me all the time because she's, the president of my brother's foundation right now, but she's in PR and communications, and so everything that I do, she's constantly double-checking it and wanting me to, and just a lot of the people that are around me, a lot of good men and a lot of good women around me, in my professional presence, and other places too.
Now, I know who your brother is. Tell everyone at home who's your brother.
Right, so now make sure that you all are following Tariq Black. He plays for the Houston Rockets this season. He also was a Laker last season, and actually he's coming back to the Houston Rockets. That's where he started. So that being the case, my brother's doing his thing. He started the Tariq Black Foundation here. We launched this summer. We had a basketball camp, we had a gala, and then we had a peace rally the same week. So, the news, the media, everybody had their attention and their sights on us because we wanted to launch that really big in the city. So
that is great.
And we're still kind of feeding off some of that energy, and some of that is helping me too in my own business as well.
Yes. What would make you quit your job or completely stop working? What type of situation or what or who would make you quit?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not one to quit a job. I can't lie. But I done quit one before. You know what I'm saying? And the situation was I was driving too far out of town. I was living in Atlanta. I was driving 30 minutes away, and the job wasn't paying a lot at the time. You know what I'm saying? And my car wasn't all of that. And so just circumstances was just wrong. But now, people-wise, I don't want to work for a tyrant. I don't want to work for somebody who is not working themselves. Somebody who just sits back and passes down assignments, or somebody who is just, or a deplorable person. Say, for instance, Donald Trump. If you were working for him, you kind of feel like, man, I may not even agree with everything that he does, but he's my representation. Yes. So.
Now, the years are flying by. I mean, it feels like it was 2016 yesterday. And we're actually getting ready to go in 2018. The young people these days, the younger generation, they are evolving with technology. However, when you and I grew up, we didn't have a cell phone in our pocket in the 6th grade. So what are some skills that we acquired when we were younger that helped us to be successful?
We were out here playing. It was a time when we were going outside playing curveball. If you're from Memphis, you was in the hood playing curveball. You were outside being creative and being resourceful, flipping off the couch and the mattresses. That was our thing. And for me, sometimes I'd have my camera, I'd be in my bedroom and I'd be creating a fort. You wouldn't know what I was doing in there.
Yes,
but,
we had clubhouses too.
Exactly. That was going to be the thing. So I think we were more creative because we used our physicality more. We were out and about. We adventured and explored more. But I think now we just kind of more so on the phone and exploring virtually as opposed to actually doing the footwork.
What are some tools that the young people need to have? What do they need to do?
The first thing you need is character. And the second thing you need to do to build that character is to just be out here learning. Have education and go for your education and let that be the thing that propels anything and everything in your life. It doesn't matter about school, just educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Well, we got to take a break, y'all. We'll be right back on Black Man Working.
You! Oh! Your fault. You!
My fault?
Your fault. Your fault.
You're right.
What?
It's my fault.
What do you mean your fault?
You're right, it's my fault.
We can make it.
Maybe both of us?
Maybe just you.
Your time is gonna come. Your time is gonna come. It's up to you to reach out to be that friend who comes along. Your day is gonna come.
When you make a friend, you make a difference.
Your day is gonna come.
Friendship, pass it on. a message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
TTEN.
We're back on Black Man Working, and if you are just tuning in, I have to say you have missed an incredible show. Mr. Amal Black here, I mean, he's a jack of all trades. I mean, publishing, photography, I can't even name them all, broadcasting, teaching. He does pretty much everything, but he's basically an entrepreneur and a really, really hard-working black man. So, Amal, I want to know more about you. What are some of your hobbies?
I love to work out. I dance a lot. I work out a lot. Dancing and work fitness is a lot of the things that I like to do. I like to write music, stories, and things of that nature. I'm a workaholic, so my hobbies, I'm not gonna lie, is sitting at home and doing some graphic work and working.
What is your relationship status? Are you single, married, kids?
I'm single, and I think marriage is way off, but I am kind of starting to look, but they say I'm bad at it because, you know what I'm saying, because I don't keep up sometimes. I be working, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Any kids?
No kids.
No kids. Well, you made kids seem bad.
I love children, but I can always give somebody else's, let them go home to their parents.
Yeah, go ahead and go on.
But I have a lot of nieces and nephews who I love, and a lot of kids in the community who look up to me, and I raise them.
Of course. Do you have any final words, thoughts, or shout-outs?
Yes, please get up and get a job. If you don't have a job, get a job. And if you don't have a job, get a really good hobby that leads to a really good job, okay? And, other than that, just bless people. Make sure that you're always out here being progressive, being productive, and just know what you want to do. And if you don't know, do some things to help yourself figure it out. We ain't got time for you to be shucking and jiving because you only live once.
That's it. You only live once.
Yes.
Well, that's our time. We salute you. Thank you so much for joining me every week on Black Man Working. You know me. I'm your host, Leanna Davis. So if you would like to be a guest on my show, you can email me at info@ttenetwork.com. Once again, that information is info@ttenetwork.com. I'll see you next time on Black Man Working.